There's been a lot of controversy recently on Sorare with the rollout of this new Cap 270 monthly competition. But I don't think it's as bad as people are saying, and there's probably an easy fix. To explain it, from my perspective, like everyone, initially I was completely surprised by it. I actually thought when they said monthly rewards would be paid out at the end of the month, I thought that included weekly rewards, so I was completely thrown off. But no, what they had actually done is stop game week rewards. So they've stopped the weekly rewards in favor of a monthly competition almost instead, but those monthly rewards at the end of the month are supposed to be higher quality, so therefore reward you better than the weekly game weeks. And people were quick to point out, of course, that, 4 or 5 star tier 1 rewards are better than 1 high quality star reward at the end of the month. The reason that Sorare gave as to why they've removed these weekly rewards is the compounding effect. If you don't know, the compounding effect is essentially in these monthly competitions, when you get off to a good start, you are comparatively better off than anyone else in the competition because you can use those rewards and then compound them so that you do better in the competition, when realistically, you should kind of be on equal footing if you win game week 1 or game week 4. This effect was really prominent, at least for me, in the Global Cup. And to be honest, I never complained about it because I didn't really care. A 1 in a million chance of playing football with Zidane, it's great, but getting off to a good start or not, it's probably still absolutely no chance of it happening to me. But that was last year during the World Cup. They were saying it was an issue during the All-Star monthly competitions where, people that get off to a good start are then, favourably advantaged compared to someone else. But is that really the case? Because realistically, if you are finishing high enough in Global All-Star where you are competing for the monthly competition prizes, you probably have a gallery so deep and so good that these rewards are effectively irrelevant to your performance. Like, not completely irrelevant, but, largely irrelevant. So yeah, despite Sorare saying that's the effect they're trying to correct, I don't believe them. I don't think that's the real reason. What I actually think they were trying to do, and this may be a hot take, is cut rewards. But cut rewards without causing a panic in the market. Because if you hear people are cutting rewards, it sounds like, you're not making enough money or the reward payout's too high or something like that. But neither of those factors. Let me explain. The key reasons for me are twofold. 1, growth, and 2, auction rate. I'll explain both of them, starting off with growth. I'm certain that Sorare expects a reasonable amount of growth in the next 12 months. If you think about it, they've been slowly marketing, La Liga Player of the Month, they have Sorare on them. The banners around Premier League game, Sorare on them. It's about brand recognition at the moment. They're not really trying to onboard users. They're trying to say, this is us, get to know us. That's kind of what I feel. I've obviously not been told, but that's my feeling. That's what I'm seeing. There is marketing, but it's not the marketing that people want at the minute. And that could be a good point, because at times during this year, if Sorare would have marketed, it would have gone awfully, because they might have onboarded users and then they just immediately left because the product and the site and everything else just wasn't in a position where casual loads of millions of players can come on, play the game and have fun and leave. And that is not what I think will happen in the future, because there's a big release around the corner which we all know about. They're soon to drop this kind of daily casual game mode where you and a friend could be in a pub playing, watching football, and you can download an app, and within seconds you can put out a lineup so you're competing on equal footing against each other. Now, we don't know the whole explanation of how it's going to work, but what we know is it's going to be very more casual friendly. So those millions of users that Sorare have always targeted, they become another option for Sorare. It's kind of like a Sorare light version, and what the goal is that we transition these users from, one game of Sorare is really fun, but what if I could have it running across the whole weekend, like all our Sorare managers play this weekend? So then you slowly build them up into what is a really, really creative and, difficult to master product in the form of Sorare. And if we see that sort of significant growth that Sorare expects, that I kind of expect, then you're not going to be able to increase prizes. And if you keep the prize pool static, whilst users come on and join the game, it's not going to be a good environment for the game, because people will be complaining it's too hard to win, these new users will be getting absolutely slaughtered, and they won't be able to grind up and get, little checkpoints where it's like, yes, my first reward, yes, this, and then I can compound that and grow. So yeah, you would get these new users, but they wouldn't be in a good frame of mind, and then traditional users that have been here for ages would be, toys out the pram, this is too hard to win, or all the rest of it. But I hear a couple of you saying, but isn't Sorare too hard to win now? And you see people complain about it all the time, and to be honest, just being as blunt as I can, that's absolutely nonsense. I absolutely hate at the minute when I read the term that Sorare is too hard to win, and whenever I see it, I see people saying it fall into 3 categories. One, they're greedy. They're playing too high up in the divisions where they don't have, the quality of players or the depth of players where they can really compete and have a good chance. Yes, they'll have a good week now and again and they'll get a reward. But all they're doing is seeing the carrot. They're looking at the carrot going, I want that. I want a star super rare, or I want a star rare, when it's your budget's rare or your budget's limited. The second category is they're too short-term minded. The biggest benefit of Sorare is that you get these Sorare cards and you can use them through the player's entire career, right? Every single game they ever play, you can go and use them. That's the plan. So if you can use them for, the rest of their, playing utility in football, then the 3 game weeks that you're complaining about, that the average score in All-Star was pretty high, it has absolutely no effect because there's another 3,000 game weeks you can go and play it. Then finally, the it's too hard to win crowd. There are just people that are not good at the game. There's no strategy, there's no foresight. It's just go onto Sorare data and just find out these are the last average of players, these are their prices, I'll just go and buy them. Like, the game, as I said before, it's complex, it is difficult, it's really hard to master. I still find that I'm learning stuff every single day, and doing that kind of casual approach of, I'll just go and buy who's averaging high, it's always going to end badly because it's a free market. And if you're averaging 55, the price of your card is going to be equivalent to them scoring 55. It's a free market. So you should be looking for players that, outperform their averages, that, in the long term you'll think, or players that have a low average but are far too cheap for their value. I really consider this game very similar to poker, where you'll see poker players complaining, oh, I'm card dead, oh, I'm so unlucky, oh, I never, get the flop right. But realistically, what's happening is everyone's playing the cards they're dealt, and some players are just playing better than others, so it seems like they're luckier than others. And of course, at the same respect, like poker and like Sorare, there's luck involved in both. It's not a perfect system, and that's what keeps people playing, and that's what keeps people thinking they're better than they are at the game. So if we can be rational about it, right? Sorare pays out in almost every single division, in the lower tiers at least, about 10%, right? So 10% of players get a reward every week, and you can play twice a week, almost every single week of the year. Then keep in mind, you have ETH rewards. ETH rewards have gone up to about 50% of the people competing in that one division getting them. Those percentages are actually relatively high. You don't go into a big poker competition and have 10% of people getting paid out. It's the top 1% of players. So realistically, Sorare being too hard, I just don't agree with it. If you agree on that, you could agree that they are trying to cut the rewards very slightly in what I would call almost like a stealth tax on rewards. The understanding of reward payouts being too high leads very importantly onto my second point, because my second point here is the auction rate. And what's important about the auction rate is it's relatively high at the minute, and that's causing like a slow downward trajectory in prices. Now, we would of course expect that, maybe not this early into the season, but the issue that's so important is that rewards take up 40% of that supply. So you can't have any sizable effect. You can't just turn down the auction rate and have any effect on the market. They need to work together. If your goal is to reduce supply, you need to reduce rewards and reduce the auction rate. And I think that's where they're going to slowly start transitioning to with the saving of rewards. So just to summarize what I've just said, I think Sorare, by removing game week rewards and instead just paying out on a monthly prize pool, I think the rationale for that isn't what they said. I actually think it's because they expect growth, so they need to increase prize pools within the next, 6 to 12 months. And they want to slow down the auction rates, but can't really do that without cutting rewards slightly. So if this was you, right, and you had to cut the Sorare prize pool, what division would you cut the rewards from? Because I've seen a few people on Twitter be like, oh, they should have taken the prizes from All-Star. But All-Star have just had their rewards taken to Champion Europe recently. Yes, last time the monthly prizes were on, they obviously came from All-Star, but they were also rewarded to All-Star players, so realistically they weren't any worse off. Then, when you think of it like that, I think Cap 270 is a fantastic place to take them from, because no one really targets Cap 270 as their go-to division. It's always like an afterthought for the majority of managers. So if the goal was to make a cut, then 270 makes almost perfect sense because you're affecting, the least amount of people on the game, which is what you'd want. But I did say at the start of the video, I think there is a quick fix to this problem, because although I'm not seeing it as too much of an issue, the fact that it's caused so much negativity throughout the Sorare space, it probably is something they could have done better. And honestly, what they should have done is just taken the rewards from Cap 240. Not because no one targets it, because the reason everyone plays it is for the ETH. And the cards are just a bonus. And you can run that exact same theory with a monthly competition. You can give out ETH rewards every time someone hits 280 points every single game week. And then at the end of the month, you can give out prizes card prizes for those, top percentage of players, whatever percentage you want. So that could be the exact same thing where, you just give out ETH every week and the card rewards are paid out monthly, and there's a little cut on card rewards so you can then cut the auction rates. And then realistically, I don't think anyone would complain about it. Or maybe, a small minority of people do complain about it. But if they understood the bigger picture and they understood that this might make card prices more stable, or maybe even creep up in price over the year, I think there'd be a lot more understanding. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them. But let's be realistic here. This is a trial. They said it. They are trialing a new form of monthly leaderboards, and that's what we should want from the game. They can't get everything perfect immediately, and I think this is a good trial. We'll see how it goes. I have no idea whether I'm going to enter the competition yet or not. But yeah, if you think I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, let me know in the comments. Or if you think I'm seeing the bigger picture, then yeah, let me know. Drop a like on the video. If you want to see more of me talking about Sorare, then subscribe to the channel. And yeah, all the best to you. Cheers.